There was a man who spent 40 years building everyone else's life. He worked hard, showed up, sacrificed, stayed quiet. He made sure his family was happy, his boss was satisfied, his friends were comfortable. And one day, he looked in the mirror and realized he had no idea who he was anymore. Not broken, not failed, just lost. Because somewhere along the way, he forgot one simple truth. If you don't choose yourself, life will use you. So if you are over 40, this is not your decline. This is your awakening. The first key point is your time is no longer unlimited. And that truth can either scare you or finally set you free. For most of your life, you lived as if there would always be another year, another chance, another Monday. You kept saying, I will do it later. Later I will travel. Later I will rest. Later I will tell people what I really feel. Later I will start living the life I want. But after 40, something shifts. Quietly, deeply, you begin to notice that the calendar is moving faster than it used to. A year no longer feels like a year. It feels like a weekend with laundry. January arrives, you blink, and somehow it is already October and someone is talking about holiday sales. You laugh about it, but part of you knows it is true. Time is no longer standing outside your door waiting politely. Time has walked into your house, sat on your couch, eaten your snacks, and is looking at you like, so, what exactly are we doing here? There comes a moment when you realize you have spent years giving your best hours to things that did not deserve them. You gave your mornings to stress, your evenings to people who only called when they needed something, your weekends to plans you never even wanted to attend. How many times have you said yes while every part of you wanted to say no? How many dinners, meetings, phone calls, and fake smiles have stolen pieces of your life? You stand in a room full of people, smiling, nodding, pretending to enjoy yourself, while inside you are thinking, I could be home in sweatpants, eating chips, protecting my peace, and honestly, that voice inside you is wise. After 40, you begin to understand that every yes has a price. Every yes to something empty is a no to something meaningful. A no to your health, a no to your dreams. A no to that quiet little voice inside you that has been whispering for years, please, choose me this time. I once heard a story about a woman who spent almost 20 years taking care of everyone else. Her husband, her children, her parents, even her neighbors. If someone had a problem, she solved it. If someone needed help, she showed up. She was the strong one, the dependable one, the one who remembered birthdays, made dinner, paid bills, fixed problems, and smiled through all of it. Then one day, her youngest child left for college. The house became quiet. For the first time in years, she sat alone at the kitchen table with a cup of tea and no one calling her name. And suddenly she started crying, not because she was sad, but because she did not know who she was without everyone needing her. She looked around her own life like a tourist in a strange country. She did not know what music she liked. She did not know what made her happy. She had spent so much time being useful. She forgot how to simply be alive. That is what happens when you keep waiting to live. You become a stranger to yourself. And the strange thing is, from the outside, your life may look successful. You may have the job, the family, the house, the nice car that makes a strange noise every Tuesday, but you ignore it because you have more important things. You may have all the things people admire. Yet inside, there is a quiet emptiness. Because success without connection to yourself feels like wearing a beautiful coat that is 3 sizes too small. It looks good, but you cannot breathe. After 40, you stop caring so much about how your life looks and start caring about how your life feels. Does it feel honest? Does it feel peaceful? Does it feel like yours? Because if it does not, then something needs to change. Think about how careful you are with money. If someone asked to borrow $1,000 and never return it, you would remember forever. You would talk about it for 10 years. That man still owes me money. But people borrow your time every single day and you hand it over like free candy. An hour here, a weekend there, a whole year gone trying to impress people who are too busy thinking about themselves anyway. Isn't that strange? We protect our wallets with passwords, zippers, and hidden pockets, but we leave our days wide open. We allow noise, drama, and nonsense to walk right in without even knocking. After 40, you begin to understand that your time is more valuable than your money. You can earn money back, you can lose everything and build it again. But you cannot ask life for a refund on wasted years. There is no customer service line for that. Imagine calling and saying hello. Yes, I would like my 20s back. I spent them worrying about what people think. No one is answering that call. So now, the question becomes very simple. If your time is precious, where will you place it? Will you place it in old habits that make you feel small? Will you place it in people who only remember you when they need a favor? Or will you place it in yourself, in your health, in your peace, in your dreams? Maybe you always wanted to learn something new. Maybe you wanted to start a small business, write a book, plant a garden, take long walks, travel, paint, sing badly in the car without shame. Do you know what is beautiful? You do not need permission anymore. You do not need everyone to understand. You do not need a committee meeting, a vote, and 3 people saying, yes, this is acceptable. You are over 40. You have survived heartbreak, failure, disappointment, awkward family dinners, terrible jobs, and at least one haircut you still regret. You have earned the right to choose differently. And maybe that is the real gift of this age. Not that time is running out, but that illusions are running out. The illusion that you have forever. The illusion that everyone must like you. The illusion that your worth comes from being busy all the time. No, your worth is not in how much you carry. Your worth is not in how exhausted you are. Your worth is not in how many people clap for you. Your worth was always there. Quiet, patient, waiting for you to stop running long enough to notice it. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, do not rush into another day on autopilot. Pause for a moment. Ask yourself, gently but honestly, if my time matters, what deserves it today? And then listen, really listen, because somewhere inside you, there is a voice that has been waiting a very long time to be heard. The second key point is stop being available for everyone, because constant availability slowly erases your value, your energy, and your sense of self. For years you trained people to expect you always there, always ready, always saying yes. Someone calls, you pick up. Someone needs help, you show up. Someone dumps their problems, you listen like a free therapist with unlimited hours. At first it feels good, you feel needed, important, respected. But over time something changes. You are not respected more, you are used more. There is a difference, a big difference. Respect comes with boundaries. Use comes with access. And you gave access to everyone without a door, without a lock, without even a small please knock first. Think about your phone for a moment. It rings, it buzzes, it lights up like a festival every few minutes. Messages, calls, notifications, people reaching you from all directions. Now ask yourself honestly, how many of those truly matter and how many are just noise? Funny thing is, we treat our phones better than we treat ourselves. When the battery drops to 10%, we panic. We search for a charger like our life depends on it. But when our own energy drops to 10%, we still say yes to one more favor, one more call, one more thing we don't even want to do. Imagine if your phone behaved like you. At 1% battery, still opening apps, still playing videos, it would crash in seconds. And yet here you are, running on emotional 1%, still trying to keep everyone happy. There is a man I know, always smiling, always helpful, the kind of person everyone likes. If you need help moving, call him. If you need advice, call him. If you need someone to listen, call him. One day, I asked him, "Who do you call when you are tired?" He laughed, not because it was funny, but because he had never thought about it. He paused for a moment, then said, "I don't know." That silence said everything. When you are always the strong one, people forget you can feel weak. When you are always the helper, people forget you might need help. And slowly, without anyone noticing, you disappear behind your own kindness. You see, being available all the time does not make you kind, it makes you invisible to your own needs. You cancel your plans to fit into someone else's emergency. You delay your dreams to solve someone else's problem. You adjust, until one day you realize you don't even know what you want anymore. Very thing is about others, their comfort, their schedule, their happiness, and somewhere in between, your own life is waiting, quietly, patiently, like a guest who was invited but never acknowledged. And let's be honest, some requests are not even urgent. Someone calls you just to complain about the same problem they have been repeating for 5 years. Same story, same drama, different day. You listen again, nod again, give advice again, and they ignore it again. It becomes a routine. You are not helping anymore, you are enabling a loop. It's like watching the same movie every day and pretending it has a new ending. At some point, you have to ask yourself, am I solving anything or just filling silence? And sometimes the most loving thing you can do is step back. Saying no feels uncomfortable at first. Your voice may shake. You may feel guilty. You may even try to explain too much. "I'm sorry, I just have a lot going on. Maybe next time, I wish I could." You turn a simple no into a long speech. Why? Because you are afraid of disappointing people. But here is something simple. People who only value you when you say yes were never truly valuing you. They were valuing your availability. That is not love. That is convenience. Real respect sounds different. It says, "I understand." It says, "Take your time." It does not make you feel bad for choosing yourself. And slowly, something beautiful begins to happen when you start creating space. At first, it feels strange, quiet, almost too quiet. No constant messages, no endless demands. You may even check your phone more often, like, did people forget me? But then you realize, no, they did not forget you. They just adjusted, just like they always do. And in that quiet space, you begin to hear something you haven't heard in years. Your own thoughts, your own desires, your own voice. It may be soft at first, a whisper, tea today, go for a walk, say no without guilt. And for the first time, you listen. Because your life was never meant to be a waiting room for other people's needs. You were not born to be on standby. You were not designed to be everyone's emergency contact. You are allowed to be unavailable. Not rude, not cold, just unavailable sometimes. Like a shop that closes at a certain hour. Not because it hates customers, but because it needs to exist tomorrow. And maybe, just maybe, the moment you stop being available to everyone is the moment you finally become available to yourself. The third key point is your identity must come from within, because anything built only on roles can disappear overnight. For years, you answered the question, "Who are you?" with things outside of you: your job, your title, your family, role, your responsibilities. I am a manager. I am the one who handles everything. And it worked. It gave you direction. It gave you meaning. But here is the quiet truth: roles are rented, not owned. They can change, shift, or vanish without asking your permission. And when they do, if your identity is tied only to them, you feel like the ground under your feet has moved. There was a man who worked at the same company for over 20 years. Every morning, same routine, same desk, same chair, same coffee that was honestly more sugar than coffee. But he liked it that way. People knew him, respected him, depended on him. His identity was clear. Then one day, the company restructured, new management, new system, and suddenly his position was gone. Just like that, he walked out of the building holding a small box with his things, looking at it like it was a puzzle. "Is this all I am?" he whispered. Not angry, just confused. Not angry, just confused. Because for 20 years, his name and his job were the same thing. Without that job, he did not know how to introduce himself anymore. This is what happens when your identity lives outside you. It becomes fragile. It depends on things you cannot fully control. And life loves change. It moves people, shifts situations, closes chapters without long warnings. One moment you are needed everywhere. Next moment, silence. And that silence can feel heavy if you have never learned how to sit with yourself. Have you ever been alone in a quiet room and felt uncomfortable? Not because something was wrong, but because you did not know what to do with your own thoughts. That is not loneliness, that is unfamiliarity with yourself. From a young age, you were trained to become something for others. Study well, get a good job, be responsible, take care of people, fit into expectations. No one really sat you down and said, "Hey, also get to know yourself." No one asked, "What makes you feel alive?" Not productive, not useful, but alive. There is a difference. You can be very productive and still feel empty, like a machine that works perfectly but has no joy in it. After 40, this question becomes louder. What do I enjoy when no one is watching? What do I think about when I am not trying to impress anyone? Who am I without the audience? I once met a woman who decided to take a small break after years of working and taking care of her family. Nothing dramatic, just a few weeks to herself. The first few days felt strange. She woke up and did not rush. She sat with her tea and did not check her phone immediately, which felt illegal somehow. She laughed about it. "Am I allowed to do this?" she asked. Slowly, she started doing small things, walking in the park, listening to music she used to love years ago, trying painting even though she was terrible at it, her words not mine. And one day, she smiled and said, "I feel like I am meeting someone new." That someone was herself. Identity from within is not loud. It does not shout. It does not demand attention. It is quiet, steady, like a deep river that keeps flowing even when the surface looks still. It is not about proving anything to anyone. It is about knowing what matters to you, knowing what you stand for, knowing what you will accept and what you will no longer tolerate. And this knowing gives you a different kind of confidence. Not the kind that needs applause, but the kind that remains even in silence. You walk into a room and you do not feel the need to adjust yourself too much. You are still polite, still kind, but you are not pretending. And yes, this journey can feel uncomfortable at times, because when you start looking within, you may find things you ignored. old fears, old doubts, habits that no longer serve you. It is like cleaning a room that has been closed for years. At first, there is dust, a lot of dust. You sneeze, you cough, you wonder why you even started. But slowly, as you clean, space appears, light comes in, fresh air moves through, and suddenly the same room feels different. That is what happens when you build your identity from within. It takes honesty, it takes patience, it takes a little courage to face yourself without filters. And the funny part is, once you truly know who you are, life becomes simpler, not easier, but clearer. Decisions become easier. You stop overthinking every little thing. You do not spend hours wondering, what will they say? Because you already know what you believe. You do not chase every opportunity. You choose the right ones. You do not try to fit into every space, you create your own. And when someone asks you, who are you? You may still mention your work, your roles, but deep inside there is a quiet smile. Because now you know that is not all you are. Not even close. The fourth key point is protect your mental space like your life depth. And yes on it. Because the quality of your mind quietly shapes the quality of your entire life. You may not see it, you may not hear it, but your mind is always listening, always absorbing. Every conversation, every video, every complaint, every piece of gossip, it all enters, sits somewhere, and slowly builds your inner world. And after 40, you begin to notice something very clearly. Not everything deserves entry. Not every voice deserves a seat inside your head. Because once it enters, it does not leave easily. Think of your mind like a room. For years, you kept the door open. Anyone could walk in. Some brought laughter, some brought love. But many brought noise, complaints, negativity, endless worries that were never even yours to begin with. And because the door was always open, the room became crowded. Too many voices, too many opinions, too much clutter. Have you ever sat quietly and suddenly remembered a random negative comment someone made years ago? Strange, right? You forgot what you ate last Tuesday, but that one comment stayed. That is how powerful your mental space is. It stores what you don't even realize you are storing. There was a man who had a habit of watching the news every single morning. He believed it kept him informed, but slowly he started noticing something. His mood changed. He became more anxious, more irritated, more negative about everything. The world started to feel heavier than it actually was. One day, his daughter asked him, "Why do you look worried all the time?" That question hit him. He realized he was starting his day with fear every single day. So he made a small change. Instead of news, he sat in silence for 10 minutes, just breathing, doing nothing. At first, it felt uncomfortable, like his mind was asking, "Are we doing nothing today?" But slowly, peace replaced noise. His world outside did not change, but his experience of it did. Now ask yourself, what are you feeding your mind daily? Is it calm or chaos? Is it growth or gossip? Is it clarity or confusion? Because your mind does not filter by default. It accepts whatever you repeatedly give it. If you constantly listen to people complaining, your mind learns to complain. If you constantly compare yourself to others, your mind learns to feel lacking. And the funny part is, most of this happens silently. No loud warning, no alarm, just a slow shift in how you feel every day. Like a glass slowly filling drop by drop until one day it overflows and you don't even know why. And let's talk about people for a moment, because not everyone who talks to you deserves access to your inner peace. Some people only come to you with problems, never with solutions. Some only talk about others, never about growth. Some leave you feeling drained every time, like your energy just quietly walked out of the room with them. With them, you smile, you nod, you listen, but afterward you feel heavy. Have you noticed that? That feeling is not random. That is your mind reacting. It is telling you gently, this is not good for me. But most